what do y'all think about Brian Mcknight suing his son? So it says Brian Mcknight files a lawsuit against his ex-wife and his son. The New York Post and podcasters Mark Lamont and Tasha K over alleged false allegations about his fatherhood and rumors that he was inappropriate with a minor. He's suing Tasha K and Mark. I didn't even know. I seen that he was suing his son. I didn't know he was suing Tasha K too. And Mark Lamont. What the hell? What the helly? It says Brian Mcknight has found himself back in the headlines once again, but this time he is taking legal action against several individuals and media publications for allegedly damaging his reputation with false claims. According to reports, Mcknight filed a lawsuit naming his former wife, Julie Mcknight, his son, Brian Mcknight Jr., podcasters Mark Lamont and Tasha K, as well as the New York Post. The singer accuses the group of spreading a sensational but false narrative surrounding his personal life, particularly allegations that he was an absent father and refused to express love to his son, Nico. I mean, I don't know how well that claim is going to fare in court when your son who passed away said the same thing. So it's like, how can you say that they're spreading misinformation when your son said the things out of his own mouth before he died himself? I don't know how well that's going to go, but he is a deplorable person. And he already won a lawsuit against his wife. So it's like, you're suing her again. I don't know if he thinks that if I keep suing these people and if I get vindicated, then people will be on my side. I don't think that anybody, even if he wins, let's say he gets victorious in this lawsuit, his own son made videos talking about their relationship. So I don't think the public will be like, okay, well, I like him now. They're still going to look at you the same way. Like, but I mean, ego, maybe? I don't know, but it's ridiculous. It says that he claims that the statements were not only untrue, but part of a coordinated attempt to profit from controversy at his expense in the lawsuit. He describes the situation as a case of malicious character assassination, claiming that the narrative portrayed about him has been shockingly dishonest. Among the more serious allegations, Mcknight specifically calls out Tasha K, claiming she falsely accused him of infidelity and of engaging in inappropriate relations with a minor. Claims he strongly denies. The singer maintains that he relentless and persistent assault upon his character left him with no option but to pursue legal action. He is now seeking damages for the reputational harm he says he has suffered as a result of the accusation. A lot of people weighed in on what they thought about it. Let's read some of the comments. Someone says he needs to change his name to Brian Goodnight because the people are tired. Now they all can't be allegedly lying. Another person says, nah, he's starting back at one. I can't believe this is the same dude that says that sang One Last Cry. Sir, please do not waste taxpayer dollars and the judge's time. How are you suing your son for his opinion on you? Another person says, get your money, Brian. The karma setting in, I see. Never thought I'd be on Tasha K's side. Another person says, Mark about to go to court defending himself. Brian, you don't want those problems. He definitely gonna lose this lawsuit once discovery comes out. He definitely ain't winning against the New York Post. Another person says, I thought this was a post about him passing. Another person says, last time y'all said they just go to his page and flag it every day. Another person says, why he don't go be as happy as he claimed to be. Another person says, give it up, delicious. But he dropped the suit against Jaguar, ? Another person says, did anyone ever expect to hate the thought of Brian Mcknight? I mean, who saw this coming? And another person says he do know if they show up to court with proof, he's in trouble, right? And another person, they're saying to do stuff to his baby. Somebody said he's suing his son for allegations about his fatherhood. Brian said, you and you and you're gonna love me. All right, so this is definitely a lot of opinions that don't seem to be on his side. Let me see if I could pull up anything else. Okay, so it says Brian Mcknight has filed a defamation suit against his ex-wife, Julie's son, Brian Jr., and more, alleging that they took advantage of his son's Nico's death in order to create a sensational but false narrative that the singer was a cruel father who abandoned his family. The Grammy-nominated singer, 56, filed a lawsuit in Georgia on Tuesday, April 21st, claiming Julie Bryan Jr. and several news outlets and interviewers profited off a tragic family death and committed malicious character assassination, according to documents that they obtained. It says defendant Julie Mcknight asserted that their son repeatedly told plaintiff, "I love you," during the call, while plaintiff refused to reciprocate, thereby portraying plaintiff as emotionally cruel and indifferent towards his terminally ill son, the filing says. And it says the complaint claims that Julie sent a voice message to Mcknight asking him not to initiate contact with Nico, and he respected her wishes. In a statement shared with People, a spokesperson for Julie called the claims completely unfounded and said she stands firmly in her truth and remains confident that the facts will speak for themselves. I look forward for my day in court where I will have the opportunity to fully address these allegations, Julie said. I sincerely thank all my supporters for continued prayers and encouragement and unwavering support at this time. It says Brian Jr. and additional defendants Mark Lamont Hill, Tasha K, and the New York Post did not immediately respond to People's request for comment, nor did Mcknight's attorney. It says the Back at One singer married Julie in 1989, and they were divorced in 2003. According to the complaint, the two signed a settlement agreement in 2014 that bars them each from making negative comments about the other. And he claims that Julie violated that agreement when she gave interviews to Tasha K and Mark Lamont Hill, who both are named as defendants. Mcknight's filing says conflict with his family began in 2019 when Brian Jr. shared an Instagram post implying that the singer was an absentee father. He claims the narrative surrounding his treatment of his family worsened last year when Julie published a memoir that portrayed him as an abusive husband and a neglectful father. In April 2025, Julie did an interview with Tasha K, and Mcknight claims that the host actively participated in advancing a narrative against him and also accused him of getting a teenage girl pregnant, which he denies. Then Julie and Brian Jr. did an interview with Mark Lamont Hill in which they claim Mcknight refused to communicate with his son during his final illness, refused to tell him that he loved him before his death, and emotionally abandoned him during his final days. Accusations that portrayed plaintiff as a father who withheld love and compassion for his dying child. Mcknight describes the allegation as the most emotionally charged, damning, and false accusation, and said that Hill monetized his interview with Mcknight's ex-wife and son when he posted it to YouTube and Patreon. The claims were then picked up by outlets including the New York Post, which is listed as a defendant, and Mcknight says he suffered tangible financial loss and a hit to his reputation. The singer, who is also the father to other children, including a 2-year-old son, Brian, with his wife Leilani, is suing on claims of defamation and false light, invasion of privacy, disclosure, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and more. He's also suing Julie, alleging breach of contract. He is seeking unspecified damages. Now, in my opinion, and my opinion is just that, I think that he is miserable. And I am entitled to look at things on social media and give my opinion. And I think that he's a miserable man. I think that it says a lot about his wife that she is with a man that is going down this road. And I think that if he really cared for his son, like he claims that this is defamatory, there is no type of request from his wife that would have allowed him to not be present in his child's last waking hours. He claims, from what I've read, because I can only go off of what I'm reading here, is that the wife told him, hey, don't contact the son. And he said, okay, according to what I'm reading, if everything is correct. If you truly love your son, there's no request that is going to keep a loving father from being present, especially in his dying hours when it matters. So if there are mothers like myself on the jury and they hear this, I hope that, they have the same type of response that I have. Now, a lot of times, people that look like us don't answer the jury summons. A lot of times when I go to trials or I see cases, a lot of the people that are heavily in the jury are people that are older, like older people who don't really have a lot going on, like up in age. And a lot of people that don't look like us. I think that people in the Los Angeles area or Atlanta, this was filed in Atlanta. In the Atlanta area, when you get your summons, show up for jury duty, because this is crazy. I can't imagine, like, my mom, right, claiming that she loved me, but a simple request for somebody. Imagine somebody telling my mom, hey, your daughter's dying, but don't contact her. You think my mama is not going to contact me? Yeah, right. I have a daughter. God forbid, knock on wood, anything ever happens to my child. There's nobody that can keep me away from my child in that state. So, I don't know how the other accusations of him being with a young minor, I'm not really sure about that. I don't have any evidence of that. I don't have any proof that he got anybody pregnant. I don't know how that will fare. I guess that's based on if he actually did or if he didn't, and if there's proof. But the stuff pertaining to his son, I don't know. And then going after Mark Lamont Hill for simply doing an interview. Again, I do feel like an allegation of being with a minor is different. Now, I didn't see Tasha K's interview. I don't know if she got proof or not. But setting aside her interview, if Mark Lamont didn't put allegations on him and he's simply interviewing the wife, I don't see why he would sue him or anything like that. I think that if they did have a order in place where the wife is not to speak on him, I can see that the jury might follow the law on that and she may be in trouble. But as a parent, you get to a point to where you don't give a fuck. So if it's my baby and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do for my baby, and maybe before my child was literally dying, we made this agreement that I won't speak on you, and I thought that I can keep up with that, but now my child is dying and the blatant disrespect is something that I done made peace with. I don't give a fuck what the consequences are. I can see how she can get to a point to where she don't care what the consequences are, and did these interviews knowing that she could be violating some breach of agreement that they have, and whatever comes with it comes with it. If I'm a mama and you ain't treating my child like you supposed to, hey, I'm one of them ones to where, hey, if it's to that level, the child got cancer, dying, you not doing what you're supposed to do, but then you, child, I don't know what type of piece of paper could keep me from expressing how I truly feel. Like, that's a different level of heartbreak. Her getting divorced from him in 2014, her agreeing that, you know, we go our separate way, you go your way, I go mine. That's something totally different from a mother watching her child literally wither away. That's a different type of heartbreak. So she probably feel like it's up, you know. And as a mom, if I was on the jury, would I blame her? No. But I'm probably, you know, I don't live in Atlanta, so I'm not gonna be on the jury, and I would be biased. So they wouldn't put me on there anyways. But yeah, it just, y'all, we'll see how that unfolds. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Let's see if there's anything else for us to go over really quickly. And have y'all hit the like button? Let me know. Now, this was sent to me as well. We'll talk about it. And who's still watching? Because